We're finishing our reflection on Psalm 88 today, this psalm of lament, this psalm in which the psalmist is declaring his desperate frustrations. His soul is sort of submerged in anguish and in agony, and he is venting all of that to God. He is processing his dark night of the soul. I love the fact that this psalm is in the book. It doesn't get taken out. God makes it clear that we can bring this kind of emotion to him. So I want to look at another takeaway from the psalm. So yesterday, again, it was that we can be honest with God. We can process what's going on in our heart. I want to also note that we can bring our sadness to God. Back in the 4th century, one of the early church leaders, Athanasius, pointed out that other scriptures speak to us, and in the Psalms, God speaks for us. And we get in this psalm an expression of our feelings, and not just our feelings of anger, but feelings of sadness and dismay and disappointment. So as I hinted at yesterday, in my family, that's sort of not what you were trained to do. I had a great family. Please understand that. I feel very fortunate to have grown up in the family that I did, with the parents that I had and my siblings. So, but every family has got its own unique little dysfunctions and things that you have to learn are odd. When I was about 10, I was mad and crying about something, and I was told not to cry. And told so in such a way by my dad that I didn't cry again. And I didn't even know that this was an odd thing until I was in college. One of my roommates asked me, he said, I don't think I've ever seen you cry. And I said, I don't cry. And his comment was, that's not such a good thing. You might want to work on that. I wouldn't tell many people that you don't cry. And I did. I had to work on that to sort of process. And there are things worth crying about. The world is broken enough. Like, if we're in touch with our heart, like, there will be times of sadness. And this psalm makes it clear that we can be sad. So I want to suggest that you should be reading through the Psalms. The Psalms, they start to work most powerfully when we know them. And when we go to them, and they're sort of like the national anthem, right? They just put you in a mood. You know the next line, and it's sort of a resource that you can access that helps you think differently and brings different emotions. The Psalms, there's 150 of them. What you want is the Psalms to become like a Swiss Army knife with lots of blades, and you know exactly which blade you need for exactly the project or the challenge that you're facing. So I want to encourage you to read a psalm every day. I start my day, one of the very first things that I do is just read through the Psalms. Some people read through the Psalms, 5 a day. They read through the Psalms every month. I want to encourage you at the very least to read 1 a day, and to see that the Psalms are going to help you get in touch with your emotions and make your relationship with God more transparent. And also, when we talk about sadness, please understand that one of the things that the scriptures make clear is that God can relate to our sadness. We don't get answers, sort of intellectual answers to the problem of evil in the sense that we would like. We can go a long ways. If this is the problem of evil and this is the solution, we can get here. We can't close that gap. But what we get in the scriptures is we get this recognition that God understands our suffering and pain and loss. He shows up, right? I mean, we get that with God, with Jesus showing up, and his psalms, his cries of anguish in the garden of Gethsemane before he goes to the cross. We get it on the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? And we know that God is not immune to our suffering. He understands it. And Psalm 88 takes us part of the way towards understanding that God understands it. He gives us the words to pray when we are frustrated. So I hope you're not lamenting. I hope you're not frustrated. I hope you're not distraught. But when you are, if you are, please know Psalm 88 is there for you. Have a good day.